Sunday morning and a very warm welcome on this day when people used to have a late hour sleep and keep dreaming on Sundays. However, looking to the audience, it seems that we will not be breaking your dream, but rising your dreams. Sri Nitin Bhai, please lead us, offer prayer to Almighty for keeping us fit and alive on this occasion.
वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। परमेश्वर तेरो नाम, हे परमेश्वर तेरो नाम सुमिरन करते सुबह हो शाम, सुमिरन करते सुबह हो शाम, हे परमेश्वर। अपने मन में है अंधियारा, कर दे तू जियारा, कांटो भरा यह रास्ता मेरा, फूलों से भर दे सारा, पहुँच सकूं मैं तेरे पहुँच सकूं मैं तेरे दाम, हे परमेश्वर। दर्शन की प्यासी आँखों को अब तो दर्श दिखा दे, अंग लगा कर जन्म जन्म की पीड़ा मिटा दे, बन जाऊं मैं भी घनश्याम, बन जाऊं मैं भी घनश्याम, हे परमेश्वर तेरो नाम, हे परमेश्वर तेरो नाम सुमिरन करते सब होशां, सुमिरन करते सब होशां, सब होशां, सब होशां।
Thank you very much, Nitin Bhai. To echo the senses of this audience, I must say, Nitin Bhai, we indeed feel charged with the energy God bestows on each of us. Now to proceed with the event, I may request founder trustee of J.J. Bhagwan Charitable Trust, Sri Vasantbhai Mangrolia, to garland Dr. B.M. Hegde. Vasantbhai, please also garland Anant Maharaj as well. Thank you very much. Please proceed to light the lamp. Dr. Prashant Shah, please join hands for lighting the lamp. દિયા જલે અગમ કા બિન બાતી બિન તેલ. કબીર કહે છે કે પ્રત્યેક મનુષ્યમાં એક અગમનો દીવો પ્રજ્વળે છે, જેમાં વાટ પણ નથી અને તેલ પણ નથી, માટે જેને અગમનો દીવો કહે છે. ઈશ્વર કરે આ દીપ પ્રાગટ્ય પછી આપણી અંદર પ્રજ્વળી રહેલો આ અગમનો દીવો વધુ પ્રગાઢ બને. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Considering the fact that we have already started running late in time, I propose to dispense all those stages which are dispensable in such type of events. Just to have a welcome to the dignitaries, we heartily welcome Dr. B.M. Hegde and Anant Maharaj to this event, not only to the event, even to our heart. Vasantbhai Mangrolia, I don't find words to welcome you because I am welcoming on your behalf. Police Commissioner Mohan Kumar Jha, Vallabhbhai Kathiria, ADRM Vinay Kumar, Bar Association President Mr. Piyush Bhai Shah. You are Kalpak Bhai Maniyar as well. You are heartily welcome to this event. Now, just to give a brief, very brief introduction of two dignitaries who are working pole apart, but ultimately ending at the same point. One is the world-known eminent cardiologist, Dr. B.M. Hegde, and another is spiritual guru, Anant Maharaj. Synthesis and analysis. Science does analysis, breaks everything and reaches at atom and says that, oh God. The religion joins everything and sees everywhere God. Two identities distinct apart. Now before
I say anything, just what Dr. B.M. Hegde has achieved and what could be the course of somebody's life is required to be seen. I remember a stanza of a very nice poem by Kavi Malukdar. जब मैं सुनता हूँ कठिन सत्य की बातें, जब रो पड़ती हैं अपवादों की रातें, निर्बंध मुक्त मानव के आगे सहसा जब पड़ जाती है मर्यादा की बातें, कितनी सीमाओं से संकुचित और लांछित, मैं ऐसे ज्ञान से त्रस्त, नहीं भूलों से, मुझको रंगों से है मोह, नहीं फूलों से. We have graduated or mastered in various faculties, passed through the whole spectrum, and stopped at the point where we completed our studies, but did not go beyond it, did not transcend the academic career we achieved. However, we have Dr. B.M. Hegde with us, who did his graduation, his masters, and achieved eminence in cardiology, the science, the biology, transcended through the whole spectrum, and looked at it back, found the faults, found the limitations, found what is lacking, what requires to be added. That is what Dr. B.M. Hegde is going to address us. Straightaway calling Dr. B.M. Hegde to address us as was the purpose. Hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, cancer, and painkillers. These are the ailments many of us are suffering from and treating to. How far it works, where does it not require to be attended to, will be made known, and we will be indoctrinated by Dr. B.M. Hegde. Please, sir.
Pujya Swamijis and all my brothers and sisters of my family in Rajkot. You probably didn't know we are all family, did you? We are all family. We are so closely related to each other because if you now know quantum physics, we are all vibrations, energy. There's nothing solid about us. We look solid, but we are only vibrations. And the vibrations are connected between us. As a matter of fact, myself and Dr. Sabu was the minister in the Murli Manoj Joshi's cabinet, right? Are so closely connected because there is so much a gap between the two of us. You think it's a gap? No. There is more energy there between him and me than in him and me. If only man finds out how to tap this energy from a vacuum, we don't require electricity and things like that. We don't require nuclear plants to kill human beings. But we don't want to know that because there is no business in it. That's the unfortunate part. Friends, I am very happy to be in Rajkot for various reasons. I was here for about 15, 20 years ago. Maybe twice or thrice I came for some medical meeting. But this time I am happier because people are so nice. Ever since I landed, not in outside the airport, inside the airport, till now, I have been so much sort of, pampered, loved, fed, and what have you. And that makes you feel so happy to be with you all. I hope in future also I'll have this opportunity to come back because, Rajkot is such a nice place. I have not seen a bad human being so far. It's too early, but all of you are good. And Swamiji was telling me that he has not seen the hall full any time in the past. So that today the hall is full. Thank you all very much. Sorry? Did you say something? No. Well, I am here to share my anxieties, share my sorrows with you. Because ever since I joined the medical school, long before many of you were even conceived, almost in the last, I have been worried about this human body. I have not been able to understand it. Even as a student, I was so confused. But then I was told by my teachers, now don't get confused now because you want to pass the exams. Today, what is education? It's just examination. I used to have a lecturer in college before I went to the medical school. He was a very wise man. His name was Tyagarajan. He was from Travancore. And he used to say, examination is a botheration. For the Indian nation, whose occupation is cultivation. Absolutely true. We don't study now. We send our children to mug up the book and come back and vomit it in the exam. And then we want them to get the first rank. Most first rankers don't think at all because they can't think. They have lost the power of thinking. Rabindranath Tagore went to school. First day, he found terrible in the school. Second day, 1 year, then he came and told his father, I don't want to go to school. Can you imagine that? His father was a very rich man, very powerful man. But the father was a sensible man. He said, okay, you don't want to go to school, don't go to school. So he didn't go to school. He taught himself like an Ekalavyan. And 1930 he gets the Nobel Prize for English literature. Can you believe that? Because when he wrote his Gitanjali in Bengali, somebody taunted him. If only you had gone to school and learned English, you would have written it in English and everybody would have understood. He said, okay, what's the big deal? He taught him English, himself English, in 1 year. And 1911 he wrote the Gitanjali de novo in English. But again, Tagore was not known. If you want to be known, you must be somebody in this world. Then otherwise, Churchill once said, there are three things in anything you say or do. Who are you? How do you do that? And third, what did you do? The what did you do is the least important. But who are you is the most important. If it comes from somebody very big, so-called quote-unquote big, it's accepted by people. If something comes from America, it's immediately accepted. It's very interesting. When Morarji Desai used to drink his own urine, we used to laugh at him, saying that he's a bloody fool. And our five-star culture people in Delhi's air-conditioned clubs used to laugh at him, saying that no, he's drinking his own water. And one of the writers wrote, if he were a diabetic, at least he would have got some sugar for his energy. Little did they realize that today America is using it for treatment. America is using not only urine but shit for treatment. And that saves lives. Today antibiotics do not work in silly infections. And what do? We have taken it from the Indian veterinary science. When cows got infections in the olden days, they used to give cow dung from another cow. Same thing a professor in Johns Hopkins did for dying children because they were dying of silly pneumonia, what's called Clostridium difficile pneumonia, which even can't kill a fly. But children were dying. So she took a bold stand and took the mother's shit, emulsified it, put it through the Rayleigh tube, and the child recovered in 4 hours' time. But America calls it as fecal transplant. Oh, we all say, yes, fecal transplant, very big. Immediately accept. If you say, this has come from India, they say, saffronization. This fellow must be some saffron, somebody, RSS or something like that. This is our mentality because most of us is right, if not all of us, are not Indians. We are RNIs, resident non-Indians. Not NRIs, RNIs, resident non-Indians. We are here, but we think with the Western mind. Kya ho gaya? Sound effect will be better. Here, is it okay? Yeah. Either? Then can you put off that light? Put it off, yes, put it off now. I don't need this light now. Yeah. Good boy. But it hits the eyes, so powerful light. It's bad for health also. Coming back to what I was saying, we think with the Western thoughts because this is exactly what the East India Company's policy was. Let us train Indians who are Indian in blood and color, but British in thinking, action and morals. That's what we are. Unfortunately, after independence, many of our leaders were more British than Indian. And that false thing has continued till today, where the so-called elite in society think with the Western mind. That is why we are not progressed. We have so much of wisdom, not knowledge, wisdom in India, which we have not made use of. We are after knowledge because Sir Francis Bacon wrote, knowledge is power. And you go to any Indian university, that's the motto. Knowledge is power. I always go to the university and tell them, don't write that. It's rubbish. Knowledge is information. Most of it is just noise. Occasional signal is lost in the noise, so you don't get anything. Because knowledge dwells in heads replete with thoughts of other men. Whereas wisdom dwells in heads attentive to their own. Knowledge is so proud because it knows so much. Wisdom is so humble because it knows no more. No more. Knowledge and wisdom have nothing in common. And what we should tell our students is, knowledge is not important, but wisdom is important. Wisdom requires thinking. T-H-I-N-K-I-I-N-G. Our students don't think. If an occasional student thinks and asks a question in the class, the teacher always says, it's not in the syllabus, don't worry, because you've got to get it. Now, where did this syllabus come from? The best. Time was when education was derived from the Latin root educe, E-D-U-C-E, which means deliver. Swami Vivekananda rightly said, education is the manifestation of the perfection which is already inside you. Alexis Carrel, a Nobel laureate surgeon who wrote the book Man the Unknown, wrote, I quote, every newborn child is a genius. Every newborn child is a genius, only to be converted into an idiot in school. I like that. On the day you are made in your mother's womb, when your father's spermatozoa enters your mother's ovum, you are one cell, and we call it in Latin zygote. Do you know your weight that day? 0.1201 gram.